Hey folks, and welcome to a Friday edition of Billy Maine Story Hour with me, Mike Reynolds. I'm a writer. I used to be a webmaster, but we have a woman named Ivy who does it much better than I ever could. So I did use the web. She does some web mastering, and I do this, and sometimes I write, and I probably will write some more. But right now, I really like storytelling. I really like the ability to get my voice out there, and it's a lot easier for you. Look at stuff and comprise it and get it together and, come out once a week, once every 2 weeks, and, try and post this. And I try to do this, I want to do it ideally once or twice a week, but sometimes my body doesn't allow me to do that because my body has significant issues. So, let's hit it. It's a lot of work today. A lot of it's not all. A lot of it's really depressing, legal stuff that's been going on that's really depressing as hell. And or really obscure medical or legal bills that are going through federal courts and stuff that makes no sense, but once you look at it, it's like, oh, okay. So it's weird to have to look at farm bills to get information about SNAP benefits, but then you realize that SNAP benefits, in fact, really help benefit not only poor people, but they benefit agricultural, the agricultural sector because they make sure people can buy staples. So, and it's during the case of all this crazy amounts of research, you find some of this stuff that makes no sense, but then you realize it does make sense. So with the Farm Bill, this affects a amendment that is being brought by Representative Mary and Representative Miller. It's known as the Mary-Miller Amendment. And what this does is it closes a THC loophole that was created in the 2018 Farm Bill. Now, the 2018 Farm Bill pretty much to make it easy because it's hard to explain, especially because a lot of people had no idea what the consequences of legalizing hemp would be. So in 2018, hemp was legalized federally, and as a result of that, with hemp being legalized federally, and hemp having the ability to produce small amounts of THC, and CBD, but certainly there are CBD hemp strains that have been genetically modified to create a lot more CBD than THC. But what also happened is that people took CBD and then they could find that they could use it with a base and create THC out of it, or create THC cannabinoids or hemp-derived cannabinoids such as delta-8 THCA, which become federally legal in then states who have had existing medical marijuana programs or even recreational programs in 2018 had no jurisdiction over hemp-derived cannabinoids. what this one amendment would do is allow would basically make those illegal, which I don't know. I think it's kind of an overstep. I don't think they're great, and they're saying that basically you can't use anything that would be allow you to create Delta 8 or THCA, and if it can be synthesized out of a plant, it can't be used. But what the House Committee on Agriculture did, well, you know, the head of the pursuit writing this, Mr. Thomas, Representative Thomas, Glenn Thomas, also wants got $20 billion with a B from the SNAP program, because he thinks it's a veto thing. So again, you've got this farm bill that wants to cut hemp-derived cannabinoids, which may not be the best medical thing, but for people that need access to cannabinoids in illegal states, if it's the only thing that helps people or gives people some access, it does seem like it would be reasonable to allow it to continue. And most people are just saying, I know most of the cannabis industry is saying, to leave it as it is. Some cannabis industry people are saying, make it available so that the states can regulate it, but no one's sitting there saying it, that hemp-derived concentrate should be banned. I don't think it, again, because you never know what works for certain people, and while they maybe seem as weird cannabinoids, they could actually work for people who have weird neurology and stuff like that. And while I wouldn't take Delta 8 or THC, and I have taken THCA, it's a different thing, and it can be done legally. It's known as diamonds, and they're really incredible when it comes to pain and pain management. Diamonds are great. I'm not sure if it's the same thing THCA is, but from what I can understand, it might be. And the reason why THCA is legal is because that when it's produced, it's not being sold as it becomes THC in your body, which is, I guess, gets you a lot higher because it makes your body creates the THC, and then it gets higher than so your body creates the chemical to make it THC, and then your body absorbs it as a THC that it creates. So it's a much higher and much more intense high than regular THC. But since it's not regular THC, and since the THC is being created in your body, I kind of understand the argument as to why it should be legal, because it's not really THC until it gets into your body. But it's weird. The good things about this bill is that this is only the House version, not the Senate version. The Senate version is very needed to pass. This bill needs to pass by the end of September because of the start of the fiscal year, so it's going to have to pass. And there's always so much pressure on it from the cannabis industry, and with rescheduling pretty much already in the process of happening, so that marijuana could be a Schedule 3, which would be helping patients, cannabis entrepreneurs that would have access right now, with it being under Schedule 1, it's really hard for cannabis entrepreneurs, such as caregivers or people who grow, to even get bank loans or credit cards. So it kind of creates a two-tier system for people. And to be honest, it does create issues with, jobs. I mean, nursing position. I mean, I love my job, but I would love to be able to do, like, sell in the cannabis field, but, given the way it's looked at by my, by the medical field, not so much in Maine, but in other parts, plus the banking industries and all that other stuff, it's just something I wouldn't even touch. And that's, let's say, I have any issues with my job. It just, we're talking like being able to do trimming or something like that. I mean, it's like, people are, it's a thing of being, people just want to trim and to do a ship trimming or something like that. It'd be great to learn, but again, you think about it and it becomes like, well, not really, it becomes more problems than it's worth. Rescheduling would help out a lot. I think rescheduling would also help a lot of people with disabilities with getting jobs, because it will allow people with disabilities to grow in places where it's not legal, and it will also allow people to, growing weed is difficult, but being able to grow weed with accommodations or with other people might not be so hard, and weed is good, can make a pretty good income if you're not living in an oversaturated population like Maine is right now. But it could definitely help people with disabilities, because, well, why wouldn't it, why wouldn't any new development would help, that primarily helps people with disabilities, why wouldn't they be able to try and capitalize upon that? So, and what do you think, there's another pretty big law thing that happened in Louisiana, which doesn't seem like it's a big deal to Maine, but it's a precedent that seems really crazy. And if you're thinking about it, the precedent itself could be really dangerous. From what New York Times placed it. So with Louisiana, the lawmakers have made abortion pills, certainly two pills right now are controlled substances that require the being treated like Schedule 4. The ruling undermines the FDA approval process by making the pills go through a state process which has no bearing on scientific data whatsoever. Most doctors are actually against this bill, even if they were against abortion. It makes having two of these pills, moprovazone and another pill, one of the two pills would be illegal to have without a prescription. If you had it without a prescription, you could be charged with $5,000 up to 5 years in jail, which makes no sense given that it can't hurt you, and there are lots of legitimate reasons, such as going through a miscarriage where having this pill could be the difference between life and death. What Louisiana lawmakers did was create a lot of issues which could also create problems for people who are in that situation and need creates a issue for anyone that needs any prescription medication, because what would happen if my epilepsy medication or the seizure medication or the CBD medication, the one CBD medication that is approved by the FDA, what if that became Schedule 4 under a certain state rule? How would that affect states? I mean, it's a really dangerous precedent. It's one that has had some attention, but I don't think it's got a lot of grassroots attention in terms of what this really means to do. I mean, literally, we're talking about 5 years in jail for having a prescription drug in a time in our society where we have people dying of fentanyl overdoses and overdosing becoming a absolute, ridiculous thing that just gets worse and worse and worse. And they're, luckily in Maine, the overdoses have gone down since year-over-year last year to this year, but that's still not a good thing. I mean, there's still too many people that are dying. If you can get Narcan, you should have Narcan. You should have it in your possession. Even if you don't feel like you're near anyone that has a opioid addiction or whatever. If you have Narcan, you can have an old EpiPen. EpiPen's the same thing that Narcan does. They do prevent opioid deaths. Naloxone can be pretty easily obtained through pharmacies in Maine and a lot of other community health clinics in Maine. And you can go on YouTube and learn how to use naloxone. It's a nasal spray that can be given in an emergency. EpiPens can also be used in those emergencies. It's like an injectable. So that's what's going on with, or at least my argument for why this law is in Louisiana is so dangerous, and also my PSA for getting a fentanyl, being prepared for fentanyl poisoning, because it's just too dangerous in our culture to deal with it right now. Unfortunately, we've come to that. So, in addition, there is I wanted to talk about the highly pathogenic avian influenza. This is bird flu. If you did hear a second case of H5N1 bird flu, it has been found in a dairy worker, a farm worker in Michigan. There are cases, several cases, more in the Asia and other parts of the world, but there are cases of people dying from bird flu. This is HPAI, which was known as bird flu. This is what the news information on FDA.gov is. I'm going to read this verbatim because I'm not very, as much as I've read about this, I still get a lot of things messed up, so I'm going to read this now. And so highly pathogenic Avian influenza, HPAI, is a disease that is highly contagious and often deadly in poultry caused by a pathogenic avian influenza A, H5, and AH7 viruses. It is also known as bird or avian flu. HPAI viruses can be transmitted by wild birds to domestic poultry, other bird animal species. Although bird flu viruses do not normally infect humans, sporadic human infections have occurred. It is important to note that highly pathogenic refers to severe impact on birds, but not necessarily in humans. Ongoing work to ensure continued effectiveness of the federal state milk safety system. What's new? In our May 10th update, we have to update that all 297 samples from the FDA's initial survey of retail dairy products were found to be negative for viable, highly pathogenic H5N1 avian influenza H5N1 HPAI virus. Today, for continued transparency, on May 20th, the FDA is providing additional information on our retail survey, which is testing results, which I don't going to go into. For some background, the USDA, the FDA, and the CDC, along with state partners, continue to investigate an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza (HPAI) virus impacting dairy cows in multiple states. Infection with the virus is causing decreased lactation, low appetite, and other symptoms in infected cattle. The USDA and FDA have indicated, based on information currently available, a commercial milk supply is safe because of two reasons. Number one being the pasteurization process. Number two is the diversion and extraction of milk from 6 cows. So, the pasteurization process has served public health for more than 100 years. Pasteurization process that kills bacteria and viruses by heating the milk to a specific temperature for a set period of time to make milk safer. If viruses detected in raw milk, pasteurization is generally expected to eliminate pathogens to a level that does not pose a risk to consumer health. However, pasteurization is different than complete sterilization. Extended shelf life is not required to ensure milk safety. Although milk is pasteurized, not sterilized, this process has helped ensure the health of American public for 100 years by inactivating infectious agencies. Nearly all, 99%, of the commercial milk supply that is produced on dairy farms in the U.S. comes from farms that participate in the Grade A milk program and follow the Pasteurized Milk Ordinance (PMO), which includes controls that help ensure safety of dairy products. Pasteurization and diversion and destruction of milk from sick cows are two important measures that help them that are part of milk safety, federal and state safety system. And additionally, there are a number of activities being undertaken to ensure that the continued effectiveness of federal state milk safety system. In addition to these specific research activities, the FDA is collaborating closely with CDC's Food Safety Group, as well as state surveillance team that's monitoring emergency development data and post-testing data for any unusual trends in flu-like illnesses, flu-like conjunctivitis. Today, as of May 20th, surveillance systems do not show any unusual trends or activity. As noted by USDA and some press reports from WHO, the World Health Organization, and other sources, the present virus has been injected around milk based on available information. Pasteurization is likely to inactivate the virus. However, the process is not expected to remove the presence of viral particles. Therefore, some samples have collected have indicated the presence of HPAI using qualitative polymerase chain reaction QRT-PCR testing. During the course of the outbreak, the FDA has been evaluating milk from infected animals in processing substance, and on the shelves, we are creating a large representation of natural sample to better understand the extent of the findings, because PCR findings do not represent actual virus that may be a risk to consumers. FDA is further assessing any positive findings through an egg inoculation test, the gold standard for determining viable virus. To date, we have seen nothing that would change our assessment that commercial milk supply is safe. Milk results multiple studies will remain in the next few days to week, and they have been made so far. They have been seen to be safe for now. So the milk supply is safe. It does seem like there is some good vaccines that work for H5N1, and hopefully this will be all taken care of. In terms of things going on this locally, again, tomorrow is the 7th month anniversary of the 10th worst mass shooting in America, which is where, in my hometown of Maine, which is where I'm broadcasting from today. I'm not sure what's going on. I know that there is a Memorial Day remembrance plan tomorrow at some point in Lewiston. I'm not sure when or where. I haven't really checked. I believe that information will be available at Lewiston, Maine, saveLewiston.gov, or saveLewistonMaine.gov. I'm not sure what the date on that is. I know that Bates College is having commencement on Monday morning. Mary Louise Kelly, who's an NPR celebrity and commentator for All Things Considered, will be on one of the commencement speakers, as well as Richard Franco, and the other person is going to be Clayton Spencer. So, I mean, that'll be available on live stream, and if you're in Lewiston, you can go to Bates College. It should be open to the public. I will probably wear a mask. It is open to the public. They don't require tickets. They did have some really stringent rules during COVID, but I've seen Desmond Tutu there. It was really incredible. If you feel, I'm sure seeing Mary Louise Kelly and Richard Franco and Clayton Spencer is something that's pretty much not usually easy to find in Maine. So if you're listening, you get a chance to go over and see it, by all means, get a chance to see it. Earlier this week, the city got some bad news that the Great Falls Balloon Festival may not be going ahead. The festival organizers had sent this thing out on Wednesday saying they were cancel the festivities, but the city of Lewiston is getting involved with them, try and work out something to try and help out with logistics and security are truly big concerns. And so right now that's the big issues they're trying to do and take care of. And with that, they're going to try and make it so that the Balloon Festival does happen this year, because really, honestly, given the grief and the amount of sorrow and stress we're going through in this town with 18 people dying and 13 people injured and getting testimony every week. This week's testimony with City Hall. And it was just, having to listen to this and relive it, once a week or every so often, every 7 months, with more commission testimony or whatever, or new pieces of information, different interviews or commencement dates or anniversaries or whatever. It's hard. I mean, it's not. This happens all over the world, all over the city. There's different things that happen in your hometown. When it does, you're not quite sure what to do about it. You're not quite sure what to say or what to think, and just basically arrives at your doorstep and you don't know what to do. So I guess just be nice to people, because really, it's how you can be, and life's too short to not be nice. And really, with me, we've been nice. We've been known for a lot more nicer things, like the things that we did do, like the anti-racism rallies that happened 20+ years ago, and instead of most horrific, one of the 10 most horrific mass murders in the history of the U.S. But on that note, have a great Memorial Day. Try not to be too upset about your health pills. Being worried about what state you live in, whether you have pills, and whether you can be put in jail for 5 years for having legal drugs that are FDA approved. It's kind of sad, really, and surreal. And maybe that sounds like a lot of a good smashing of what the last 7 months feels like. And it's pretty cool to support 20, so hope you have a great weekend and enjoy it. And we'll see you hopefully sometime soon next week or the week after. Well, hopefully soon. And hopefully you can have a calm, relaxing weekend. I hope you all deserve that. And be well. And talk to you soon. Peace.